Good afternoon and welcome to Joy News today with me, Carlos Kalone. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomeme. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. In our headlines, it's less than 24 hours to the NPP's parliamentary primaries across constituencies. We'll explore details of the party's protocol for tomorrow's exercise. Details as more than 40 polling station executives at Fumso, who are delegates in the Adansi Asokwa NPP parliamentary primary, have declared their support for the incumbent MP K.T Hammond. Also, concerns are emerging over the delayed discussion of Parliament's Interior and Defense Committee's report on military brutalities in Ashaiman, despite its release in November 2023. We'll bring you details and reactions. And Ghana to remove visa fees for all Africans traveling to Ghana by end of 2024. We'll hear from President Akufo-Addo, who says his government is committed to promoting free movement of goods and services across the African continent.
The government of Ghana is committed to ensuring visa-free for all Africans traveling to our country, and the process has begun to get the policy implemented this year.
We have these plus business, sports, world news and showbiz in the next 60 minutes. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us here on Joy Newsroom. Now, it's less than 24 hours to the NPP's parliamentary primaries in 137 constituencies. Delegates, aspirants, and party officials nationwide are gearing up for tomorrow's crucial elections. More than 40 polling station executives at Fumso, who are delegates in the Adansi Asokwa NPP parliamentary primary, have declared their support for the incumbent MP Kt Hammond. At the press conference, they touted a contribution of Kt Hammond in developing the area, contrary to concerns raised by some constituents who staged a demonstration earlier.
The press conference was in reaction to an earlier protest against Kt Hammond by some aggrieved constituents who were unhappy with the MP's failure to drive development to the area. Convener for the Fumso delegates, Isaac Afo, claims the protest was led by some members of the National Democratic Congress against Kt Hammond. He describes the allegations leveled against the MP as false and malicious, targeted at making him unpopular ahead of the NPP primaries.
Led by some members of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, against Honorable Kt Hammond. We, the members of the New Patriotic Party of Fumso electoral area, distance ourselves from such false allegations against our honorable member of parliament. The lady, Agnes Akule, and the gentleman, Franklin Yamua, seen in the video, sending warning to the delegates towards the upcoming parliamentary elections, are well-known NDC members, holding women organizer position at Market Square 3, Fumso, and communication team member, respectively. Yao Fori, who claims to be a member of the NPP, is an anti-Kt since 2012.
According to Isaac, Kt Hammond has championed the development of Adansi Asokwa in his 24 years as MP for the area.
The 24-year tenure of our member of parliament, who doubles as the Minister of Trade and Industry, has done nothing for the Fumso electoral area, and the entire constituency at large is a statement of no truth and misleading. Thank you. Fumso as a community can boast of the tremendous achievement under our Member of Parliament's tenure, and to make mention of few include the following. Fumso electoral area can boast of a 3-6 unit block classroom blocks and a 1-3 unit classroom block when you go to our government school. Fumso is also boasting of a water project which is the largest in the constituency. there is a completion of a 10-seater toilet facility, which is found in the Fumso community.
Some delegates expressed their satisfaction with the MP's work.
This is assembly no cry, dear sister, no more.
He came to our markets to help us fix our markets. He helped beautify our markets some time ago. We are all supporting him to win.
K.T Hammond, your person obey your boy. Become an NPP for my to abandon United say. And this is for me, would do for me at that.
The delegates should know that NDC is behind K.T.'s bad name in the constituency. They are deceiving us to go and kill us.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Now, what protocols has the party established for the exercise? We'll hear from the Deputy General Secretary of the party, Haruna Mohammed, shortly. But first, let's speak to my colleague, Samuel Mbura. Samuel, you've covered several primaries of this nature. And so share with us what your sources have been telling you regarding tomorrow's security arrangement.
Well, Carlos, with regards to the security arrangements, the Ghana Police Service has assured that they are deploying enough men on the grounds to man security. They say the adequate police personnel have been deployed throughout the country. And as an additional layer to the security, police body-worn cameras will also be deployed at all the voting centers. I know there's an ongoing meeting between the Ghana Police Service and the top hierarchy of the NPP so far as tomorrow's election is concerned. At the end of the day, they'll communicate what exactly they'll be doing. But what we do know is that the Ghana Police Service is ready. They have deployed men across the country. They've not told us the total number that they have deployed so far, but they are assuring maximum security and they remaining committed to working together with all the stakeholders to guarantee peace, security, law, and order during and after the elections.
All right. So I know we're all looking forward to tomorrow's primaries here from Joy Newsroom. What should viewers expect from us, and what are the arrangements like?
So reporters have been deployed across the country. We know that there are about 137 constituencies that elections will be taking place. About 32 of them are going unopposed. We have 322 of the aspirants also going into the election. So all the constituencies that these elections are taking place, our reporters are over there. Myself, I'll be in the Dom Kobia constituency tomorrow, which you know is the most populous constituency in Ghana. If you look at the political dynamics, Dom Kobia has the largest number of constituents on the voters register, where we know Sarah Joasafu is contesting with Michael Eronokwe Jr. and then one Sheila Adoma. So we have mapped up the strategy, and our reporters will be deployed across the country to start the coverage at exactly 7 a.m. and end it at 2 p.m., where the party will be closing the polls.
All right. Thank you so much, my colleague Samuel Mbura here in the Joy Newsroom. Meanwhile, the national leadership of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, has defended its decision to postpone elections in Ikuapem South constituency following the withdrawal of incumbent member of parliament of the area. Now, this follows a petition from the regional party executives days after the Minister of State for Local Government, Obiamwa, withdrew from the contest. Now, the municipal chief executive for the area had been barred from contesting because city MP had been shadowed on the ballot. Now, speaking to Joy News, General Secretary of the party, Justin Kodia, says the suspension of the primary was the best way to go.
But we are a political party, and no rules or regulations is cast in stone. At the end of the day, the most important thing for us is to make sure that we go into the 2024 elections maximizing our votes in our strongholds. So anything that we need to do as a party to make sure that we achieve that purpose is something that we are fully on board. So if in the wisdom of the constituency party and the regional party they feel that we need to pull the brakes and for them to do some more legworks and also to do more consultation. That is the result that we want to achieve, because we don't want to also go into our elections where after the election there will be so much cracks in the party and it will take us many months to do reconciliation. So if in the interest of having a united front, we have to defer or suspend the elections in the Prince South to achieve our purpose, the National Party will always support such a call.
But what is the ultimate objective of this? So that others, or in this particular case, the MC, can have an opportunity to contest?
Well, you are making that point, but the reason that was given to us by the Regional and Constituency Party is something that we are satisfied with. For them, they are saying that they need more time to do more consultation to properly advise the parties. I want us to stick with that. As to whether MC, special assistant, to me, that's not the issue.
Because your statement referenced a petition, and when
from
the only petitioner coming
for me,
from
what
the
came to
MCE,
us is the region.
The region.
So we are relying on the constituency request and the regional request, and the regional party request also.
Mayor Justin Frimpong-Kodia is asking candidates to refrain from financially inducing delegates to vote for them, as party has laid down rules of engagement.
I saw from your screens like people were talking about they had this, they had that, and you invited them to the National Party. But unfortunately, they couldn't give us names, and so it's more become something like hearsay, and it's difficult for us to even get proof. Because yes, you saw the person holding money. Who gave you the money? The person is not prepared to talk about it.
In one case, actually, the envelope had the name of one of the candidates on it.
I didn't see that envelope, so maybe I have to look at your screen again. And I'm happy that you also mentioned OSP. And that's why we also have state institutions. It's their duty to also to make sure that at least when these issues, allegations comes up, they have the special services and the special composition or disposition to look at all these matters. So it's something that we need to make sure that at least incidents of this nature, it's not good for our body politics, NPP, NDC, whatever. At least we should get to a point whereby people are able to elect candidates based on merit. It's not about monocracy issues or based on material matters. It's something that in another day we can have that frank discussion. We have all political parties there to look at how monocracy is affecting our body politics. It's something that I don't subscribe.
For candidates this weekend, what's the party's position to them? Point to them on this.
We have advised them, and per the rules and regulations, I've also talked about that the party frowns on monocracy in our elections, and we want candidates to go and campaign based on their competence and what they can do for the good people in their constituencies. And it should not be based about giving people money to vote for you. It doesn't augur well for our body politics. So that advice has gone, and we are hoping that on come Saturday, the best candidates will be elected based on competence, but not about who paid what and how much the person paid.
Now, still on the NPP, some new Patriotic Party delegates in the Echuma-Nwabiaja constituency gearing up for Saturday's parliamentary primary say they will cast their ballot for a candidate who has touched lives in the constituency. They believe any candidate who has been committed to the party and constituency will not fear or feel threatened by the feared delegate session. They are therefore declaring their support for Frank Yeboah, a leading contender in Echuma-Nwabiaja North Parliamentary Primary. Here's a report by my colleague Clinton Yeboah.
Over 776 new Patriotic Party delegates are expected to cast their ballot in Saturday's polls in the Echuma-Nwabiaja constituency in the Ashanti region. In the town hall engagement, a number of delegates from the 23 electoral areas endorsed the candidature of Frank Yeboah. The group of supporters believe aspirants who have exhibited their commitment to supporting delegates, the NPP and constituents of the constituency will be rewarded in the upcoming elections.
Yeah, fear delegate, but before you fear the delegate, what did you do for the delegate? What did you do for the delegate, my brother? So if you know you've done enough for the delegate, there's no way to fear the delegates. Yeah, but if you've not done anything, you just heard there's an opportunity and you just come trying to buy your way through, definitely you must fear the delegates. I look at his dedication to the party, his loyalty, and then the hard work he puts in the constituency. I'm a beneficiary of it, and then I believe he's the right man for the job right now.
Frank Yeboah has what it takes to be a leader. Looking at his track record, he has the seductive brilliance of a leader. You see around, almost everyone is a delegate. All those wearing the t-shirts are all delegates. So this shows the support and the love that the delegates have for Frank Yeboah.
Frank Yeboah, who is Acting Director of Procurement and Projects at the National Health Insurance Authority, is in his third contest for the seat. He is promising grassroots leadership and is positive of victory.
I served the party. I contributed to whatever the campaign that we did. 2020, I came again. Delegates said I should wait. So this is my time. And I believe that they are going to reward me come 27th of January. When it comes to lobbying, we have very bad road network. That one, I'll make sure that I do some lobbying to get it done as soon as possible. I also make sure that the youth that are unemployed, I'll institute what I call Club 100, where I'm going to bring more entrepreneurs to train them. There's going to be a mentorship program. That mentorship program will seek to address the unemployment problem you have in the constituency. When I lost in 2016, I did not go independent. I did not contest against an MPP. When I lost in 2020 as well, I helped the party, I helped the incumbent MP to win power. I had every right to go independent, but because it wasn't prudent, it wasn't good for the party, for a party member like me, a staunch member, to contest against MPP, I did not go. So if you consider those things, I feel that I stand tall.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yeboah.
Now we can now speak to the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Haruna Mohammed, who has joined us on the phone. Haruna, it's less than 24 hours to the big day tomorrow. How are preparations going so far?
Thank you very much, Carlos. Good afternoon to your viewers. The new party is set for tomorrow's parliamentary primaries for extraordinary delegate conference that is looking to elect representatives for the party for where we have sitting members of parliament. All in all, we now have 102 constituencies that is going into this particular election. We have 314 qualified personnel after Aguna work has been put on hold. Then also, so we have some members who are stepping down, and then also acquiring status to be put on hold. These are members, men and women of the new patriotic party that are going into this contest. The conduct of the election, every process of that is put into the hands of the Electoral Commission as permitted law, and the Electoral Commission has already positioned all their officers across all these constituencies that we are going to conduct this election. Security detailing has been put in the hand of the Ghana Police Service, and the Ghana Police Service has taken all the measures that put in place to ensure that there is free and fair election for tomorrow. We have also deployed constituency representatives and we also deployed national representatives to the previous regions for the conduct of the election. Our message is that everything is set and we are battling ready for tomorrow's families.
All right. So in your previous one you had few months ago, journalists were not allowed into the inner perimeter, for instance, and most of journalists actually go to the ground and got this information. Tell us, what is the arrangement like for reporters tomorrow?
For tomorrow, the elections that is going to take place for tomorrow is not going to be different from what happened for where we had the presidential family. It's going to be a walk-in center. It's not going to be a conference where tickets are going to be delivered. Accreditations are not going to be given to or delegates that are going to cast their vote in this particular election. Accreditation will only be given to those who are contesting for the election, and then also there are two agents. The rest of the members of the party who are going to vote identified by their national ID because they are expected to be on the album. With regards to the media will be identified by their various media stations ID cards by the security agency. Nobody is going to be given accreditation, and I think that this is going to be a platform for us, all of us, to come together to make sure that we're able to supervise and also report accurately at what happens. I think that the Ghana Police Service is something, and it's not going to be for the inner parameters is very defined by the protocols that were issued by the Ghana Secretary.
All right, so you have announced measures to curb financial inducement at tomorrow's primaries, for instance. What mechanisms have you put in place to ensure strict adherence to this?
Yes, we have announced that the only thing that can force us to be able to work on it afterwards is evidence, concrete evidence that will be able to ensure that what is right is done. So anybody flouts any of these rules and then there is concrete evidence to support it, the New Patriotic Party will not hesitate to deal with this particular matter.
All right, thank you so much, Haruna Mohammed, for speaking to us here. We're looking forward to tomorrow's primaries, and we'll feed our audience with details from that particular primaries tomorrow. Now, let's take you to Parliament, where the House Select Committee on Defence and Interior has recommended, among other measures, compensation to be paid to victims of the Ashaiman military brutalities. These recommendations have been detailed in the committee's report released in November 2023. On Tuesday, March 7, 2023, the military conducted a swoop in the communities of Tulaku and Taifa in Ashaiman to apprehend suspected criminals linked to the killing of young soldier trooper Imoro Sheriff. Unfortunately, this operation resulted in distress and untold indignities for innocent civilians and residents of Ashaiman, sanctioned by the military high command. Subsequently, a parliamentary committee was established to investigate the incident, and its report has been available since November 2023. However, despite being laid in Parliament, the report is yet to be discussed on the floor. Here are excerpts of the report there you have on your screen. And findings of the committee, it says that it was established that the military operation that took place at Ashaiman Tulaku and Ashaiman Taifa on Tuesday, 7th March 2023, was indeed sanctioned by the military high command. And goes on to say the operation was sanctioned based on intelligence gathered by the military. And some residents of the affected communities were subjected to acts of torture and sustained various degrees of injuries. And about 247 persons suffered varying degrees of injuries, causing them somatic bodily pain, and with others traumatized. Dr. Al-Hassan offered medical treatment for 50 of the affected victims. Now, there were damages to some personal properties of residents during the military operation. And then they offered recommendations, which says that persons brutalized by the military in Ashaiman on 7th March 2023 and who sustained various degrees of injury should be promptly and adequately compensated by the state. Now, the compensation must be extended to cover those persons whose properties were destroyed in the course of the military swoop. It goes on to say, as part of the recommendation, that the committee abhors any form of tortures, handling of civilians by the military or any security services for that matter. And then the committee calls upon the leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces to educate their personnel on the legal demands and consequences of such acts. And then it says the committee further recommends that the soldiers who indulge in the excesses associated with the operation should be identified and dealt with in accordance with Section 32 of the Ghana Armed Forces Act 1962 Act 105, which stipulates that, quote, every person in the armed forces who behaves in a cruel or disgraceful manner shall be guilty of an offense and on conviction liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or to any less punishment provided by this act. And so that is the recommendation by the committee. We'll keep you posted on this particular story. Meanwhile, MP for Ashaiman and member of the committee, Mr. Ernest Nogwe, military brutality that took place in Ashaiman, stated that the report by the committee is to be discussed in Parliament. He noted that the recommendations made by the committee are crucial and believes it's long overdue for Parliament to take action. He, however, hoped that when Parliament resumes, the report will finally be on the agenda.
But the time we had finished with the report, we were on recess. So when we resumed, the report was laid on the floor of the House, and it was distributed to members. But as we speak now, the report has not been discussed on the floor. And so I'm even wondering how, anyway, since it was distributed to members, it has become a public document, actually. And so...
Let me cut it. Do we know why the report has not been discussed on the floor yet? Is there anything you are picking up as to why that has not been done yet?
Yeah, to that extent, I may not be able to tell because I remember some few weeks to recess, this Christmas break, I raised it on the floor that the committee had finished its work for a very long time. The report kept on repeating itself on the order paper. Almost every week, you will see it in the business statement. You will see the report on the order paper, but had not been taken. So I raised it on the floor to the speaker, and the majority leader, that is Honorable Chairman Sambosu, admitted same and said that the report was going to be taken that week. But unfortunately, it has since not been taken. And so I may not be able to be at the position to tell the reason why the report has been delaying. But be that is me, as we speak now for almost 3 months, the report has not been discussed on the floor.
Away from Parliament, the government of Ghana says it will, by end of this year, remove visa fees for all Africans traveling to Ghana. Addressing delegates at 2024 African Prosperity Dialogue at PDRC in the Eastern region, President Akufo-Addo bemoaned the high cost of visas, which, in his view, undermines initiatives such as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which seeking to ensure the free movement of goods and services that will deliver prosperity to the African continent. Before the expiration of his tenure, the president says his government is committed to tearing down visa fees for all Africans traveling to this part of the world.
A rich cultural display opening the 2024 Africa Prosperity Dialogue on the hills of PDRC in Ghana's Eastern region. Delegates attending this year's summit are actors drawn from across the African continent and are expected to brainstorm on how to deliver prosperity to the African people. Key on this agenda is the need to accelerate the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
Over the last 3 years, 3.5 years that the AFCFTA Secretariat has been in Ghana, we have recorded tremendous success in ensuring that the vision of our founding fathers does indeed become a reality. We have, however, taken the very concrete steps of creating a single market consistent with the vision of our founding mothers and fathers, as far back as May 1963 in the historic city of Addis Ababa. Much needs to be done.
And that, for many experts, include tearing down the high cost of visas across the African continent. Ghana's President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo reveals that the country is already considering a policy of making the country a visa-free regime for all African people.
So that for many of you, you had to acquire a visa to come to this event. Even though special arrangements for this conference reduced the visa acquisition fee by 50%, and you were thus able to receive your visa on arrival. The government of Ghana is committed to ensuring visa-free for all Africans traveling to our country, and the process has begun to get the policy implemented this year. Before I go.
Over the next 3 days, actors from across the African continent are converged here at the Africa Prosperity Dialogue 2024. The message is simple, that Africa needs to trade amongst itself and to boost production for development.
The first pillar is the private sector strengthening, including SMEs, women and youth. I need to empower our majority of the African private sector, the small and medium enterprises, the women entrepreneurs, the cross-border traders. All those are, because the private sector is not homogeneous. How we do this? We need an enabling environment, and what we need is the political will. How we reduce corporate taxes, how we promote incentives for investment from African investment, and finance is to have at least 40% of all government procurement goes to African private sector, including SMEs, women and youth.
But if we look at the bigger scale, indeed, we are not getting what we are supposed to do, which is kind of normal. We are not processing till the end product. And chocolate needs cocoa and butter. So most of these key things are being now processed a little bit more here, but this is the part where there are more value. So it's normal that we represent so small, and this is exactly the work we are doing by promoting through this dialogue today, through the African Union to really promote more and more key values that will come out of cocoa.
This is Sugan reporting for Joy News. Peduase Presidential Lodge, Eastern Region.
And here in the studio, I'm Carlos Keloni. Moving on, the Global Engineering Technology Group of John Wesley Methodist Business School has emerged as winners of the 2023 Ghana Science and Tech Explorer Prize Challenge. Now, the beat-off stiff competition from about 100 teams of innovators to walk home with the ultimate prize. Joy Prime's Loishola Adeyemi has more in the following report.
The winner, Get Group.
Excitement galore as your toil is crowned. They are a team of 6 young innovators, the Global Engineering Technology Group team from John Wesley Methodist Basic School. They have the passion to address societal challenges using their science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM knowledge. Their project, an anti-sleep device for motorists, is targeted at dealing with the increase in road accidents in Ghana.
This is how the anti-sleep device for motorists works. The eye blink sensor coordinates the eye. After the eye blink sensor has detected that the driver is sleeping, it sends a signal through the processor for the buzzer to beep. As the buzzer continues to beep and the driver regains consciousness, he or she can continue with his journey. But if he fails to regain consciousness, the headlight and the brake light gives an indication that there is danger for other motorists who are behind not to collide with each other. Again, the speed of the car then reduces and the car engine stops automatically. It then sends an SMS to an emergency contact for the rescue of the driver.
Team lead Mary Menu is excited of their victory.
From day one, we have sweat, we didn't sleep. We made sure that everyone will be safe, and we want everyone to be safe. No loved one should be separated anymore through road accidents.
On behalf of President Akufo-Addo, Chief of Staff Madam Frema Opare highlighted some challenges plaguing Ghana's education system.
Ghana's education sector still requires some significant transformation to compete with the best in the world. For example, we must increase our gross tertiary enrollment ratio from the current 18.84% to 40% by 2030.
Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Educhum congratulated Dream Oval for augmenting government effort in making STEM education fun for junior high school pupils. He, however, urged the organizers to scale up the project to cover the entire country.
Bringing students from Greater Accra, Eastern, and Ashanti. And I appeal to the sponsors of this program to scale this to the rest of the country, because we have talent everywhere in Ghana.
The organizers appealed to corporate Ghana for financial support to extend the GSTEP program to every pupil. Winners of the 2024 edition of GSTEP Challenge, Get Group, were awarded 70,000 Ghana cedis worth of STEM equipment for their school and a citation from sponsors and organizers. Aqua Century were first runners-up and Light Bearers emerged second. Shola Adeyemi's report for Joy Prime.
You're still watching Joy News today with me, Carlos Keloni. We have business after this break. Please stay with us.
Welcome. Let's do some business stories now with me, Emma Davis. Fish Solutions has underscored that the Ghanaian economy will recover this year, but will face some downside risk. It, however, affirmed the growth at 3.5% earlier projected, warning that the country's real economy faces severe stress. Here's Mike Kuniga, a senior sub-Saharan Africa country risk analyst.
Given that this marks the weakest outturn since the COVID-19 pandemic,
it indicates that Ghana's real economy remains under significant stress. However, we do expect that the Ghanaian economy will move to a recovery phase this year, so in 2024, with growth coming in at 3.5%, up from an estimated 2.7% in 2023. And again, you can see this on the left-hand side chart. So this recovery will be primarily driven by stronger domestic consumption as inflation moderates. So as you can see on the right-hand side chart here, inflation has already come down to 26% in November, mostly due to statistical base effect.
Now, the quality of teak products exported from Ghana is found to have considerably reduced in recent times, rendering the industry less competitive in its biggest markets. Historically considered a premium teak on the Indian market, the largest importer of Ghana's teak is also crippled with high cost of operation, according to foreign investors in Ghana's teak companies. This was reviewed by a fact-finding trade mission to India and Vietnam and a trend analysis of Ghana timber and wood product exports from 2001 to 2021. There is more in the following report.
India and Vietnam are the biggest importers of Ghana's teak and wood products. A joint team of the Forestry Commission and the private sector embarked on a fact-finding trade mission to these countries to examine the performance of Ghana's teak trade and value-added wood products in the markets. A meeting opened a discussion on ways of adding value and revamping the industry with additional domestic and export markets. Mohammed Nuruddin Idrisu is the acting executive director of the Timber Industry Development Division of the Forestry Commission.
So in the past, our teak used to have premium price, but now the quality coming up from our forests is not great. The reason being that the Latin America teak is grown from what we call true tissue culture. So it means that it's been genetically modified to grow faster. It is for that reason that our quality has gone a little bit higher, lower. And for that matter, our prices generating in the Indian market is also coming down as compared to the prices from Latin America. Aside that, our cost of production over here is also a bit high, because if you are producing from the natural forest, you're going to leave it for a very, very long time.
According to the Research and Statistics Department of TIDD, Ghana is doing 56% to 58% of exports in teak. Research and Statistics Manager at the Forestry Commission, Samuel Maulidu, emphasized the value addition and diversifying export species by promoting lesser-known timber species.
As I mentioned, the promotion of the lesser-known timber species, and also the development of more plantations, because now the focus has shifted to plantation timber. The direction of trade is to India, which is dangerous. So we cannot rely on that alone. So we must do more of value addition. But from the comments from the
Managing Director of Samatex, Richard Dua Nsenchire, is admonishing the private sector to champion the implementation of the recommendation proposed by the
I believe that the private sector should lead these findings and observations, and also lead the implementation, because it is all about the private sector. As we know, Ghana Forestry Commission does not export wood. They only facilitate the export of wood products. So I think it's the private sector who has to lead in this whole implementation.
Manager of Plantation at the Forestry Commission, Kwame Ejeyi, disclosed the Commission will earmark its revenue for the maintenance of plantation to improve the quality of teak products.
And we are doing a lot of restoration programs, but maintenance has been a challenge for us. We have large hectares of plantation that we've established, but there's not been adequate maintenance of some of these plantations. A key recommendation that we made was that as Forestry Commission, we need to earmark some of our revenue for maintenance, exclusively for maintenance of the plantation, and we will do this collaboratively with the private sector.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yabua.
And I am Emma Davis. That's all for business. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is sports. Please stay.
to sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The Ghana Football Association has announced a 5-member committee to search for the replacement of Chris Hughton following the decision of the football governing body to part company with the former Norwich, Tottenham Hotspur and Newcastle United manager. The GFA committee will be led by its Vice President, Mark Ado, and also Mr. Caesar, who is the Chief Director of the Ghana Football, the Ministry of Youth and Sports. This is a roadmap that the Ghana Football Association has announced for the next coach of the Black Stars, and they say that they need a manager who has about over 15 years experience coaching at the highest level. They also say that they need a manager who is going to instill discipline in the players. And the committee, they've got about 3 weeks to be able to find the next head coach of the Black Stars. Ace Ankoma is the vice chair of the committee. This is the criteria for a new coach of the Black Stars. The potential head coach should be a proven winner in coaching top men's national team or club football, must have a football philosophy that aligns or complements our DNA, must hold the highest football license in the world with over 15 years coaching experience, proven track record in team reconstruction, organization and development of young talent, proven disciplinary tactician and leadership skills. So these are the things that the Ghana Football Association would be looking out for from the next coach of the Black Stars, following their decision to part company with Chris Hughton. So these are the members: Mark Ado, Vice President of Ghana Football Association, Ace Ankoma, Joseph Kwame Minta, a former psychologist of the Black Stars, Opokunti, formerly of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and William Caesar Kate, who is the Chief Director of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So these are the members of that committee. Now let's go to Europe, where Jurgen Klopp, manager of Liverpool, has announced that he will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Jurgen Klopp won the Premier League for Liverpool for the first time in 30 years, won the UEFA Champions League as well as manager of the club, and he's announced his exit. There's also an opportunity for him to still get some silverware as his side comes up against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final. That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
And that will be it for this particular bulletin. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon.